I'm Damon Jacobs from We Love Soaps. It is such an honor to meet you. I have loved your work on this show. I actually loved your work on Days of Our Lives for that brief period of time. It was 20-something years ago. I remember that as Amy, the undefined runaway. You remember that?
Wow, that's like a bad flash right now. I'm like having one of those trips. With the blonde, the tall blonde.
Tall blonde, Melissa, Lisa Trussell.
Right. And we were looking for somebody.
You were looking for some clue, some adventure. You were in trouble.
Troubled distressed. I played distressed a lot.
They had a lot of distressed characters, but really your talents, I think, were displayed and shown once you started on Guiding Light.
Yeah. Guiding Light was, there was no sass in the Days of Our Lives character, and so I just didn't know what to do. But thank you.
But Blake gave you a chance to bring on the sass.
Blake filled it all up. Yeah. You know, I think I learned my lessons from the shows that I did prior to it, where they were very one note, except for the crazy nun on General Hospital. But I was a good girl, and I just said, okay, yeah. But I wasn't quite tapping into what I wanted to be doing. And when Guiding Light came around, I have a great story because I actually auditioned for Eve first, Eve Guthrie, and being very noble and everything. And I just was like, I won't do it because I've done this before and it didn't really work. So I played it like Blake, not really knowing. And they said, no, you didn't. You're not right. But you'd be very good for this other character that's coming up. Will you come back and test for that? And so it was history after that. So it's kind of interesting.
How did you feel about being paired with Jerry Verdon right off the bat?
Well, there was nothing bad about that. That was awesome. He made me feel wonderful from the moment I stepped foot on set, and it helped that I was a huge fan, longtime fan of Guiding Light since 1979. So I was very well aware of all of the characters and the relationships. I didn't even skip a beat. I mean, there was no issues for me. I had no questions. I was like, oh, no. I got this, guys. So it was fun.
I think that is possible. What you're saying is why viewers really connected to you so quickly, which is unusual as a recast. But
yes.
People seem to really love your portrayal as Blake right off the bat.
Well, I'm glad, because that was a rough 6 months in the beginning, just confidence-wise, but that was only on one level, because deep down I really lived it. I was living and breathing it with everybody else. So for me, it was just a transition. I got to be a fan that got to play a character.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you were front burner on Guiding Light for quite a few years, almost 10 years. And then in recent years, you've been recurring. How has that been for you?
Well, it's been a different kind of ride ever since Jerry left and Ross and Blake were no longer Ross and Blake, and there were a few years where not only did Blake have any idea of what her identity was, the writers didn't have any idea. Nobody quite knew what to do with me. So that was a little rough. I went through everything I think somebody would go through when you've just lost your partner, and then you flounder. And I think I shadowed everything that would happen in real life, and because it was happening. And now we've rediscovered Blake, and she's very much part of the soul of Guiding Light, and I'm happy that there's a lot of heroic qualities that are coming out in this character now, and it's so much fun.
Right. She certainly has become in the recent months one of the strongest female characters, I think. What would you have liked to have seen happen for Blake after Ross had passed?
Well, honestly, I wish that there had been more development with the kids. I wanted the two teenage boys to come in, grown, heartthrobs. You know, I wanted them to be the Cain and Abel, Roger's grandsons, and really get involved as Blake is growing up, trying to go into the next stage of life, having grown children. I mean, I think that would have been fascinating to play that. We never got to see that, which I would have loved. The kids going, Mom, could you just button that, okay? Would you just do that for me? You know, those qualities, that would have been interesting to play, being the mother of teenagers.
Right. How are you dealing with disappointment at this time with with the show
Oh,
ending?
I think I'm just in denial. That's how I deal with it. I just hide my head under the pillow, and I have great belief that this show has a very strong sustaining force. It always has, and I believe it always will. So I'm not. It's ending its particular incarnation at the studio and at CBS, but I still believe that there's life for it to move on, and I'd be happy to move along with it. And who knows when it will be, but I actually have a very open, healthy mind about it, and I'm just moving on. I'm taking the strength that I get from it and bring it wherever I go. I mean, Guiding Light's been a family, and it's given me so much, so I can't take that away from me.
What would you say you've learned from Blake over the years?
Oh.
Aside from birth control.
Blake, it's funny, just Blake, the honesty of Blake. I think that Blake has given, what's the word? It's a sass, but it's a confidence, and it's a speaking of one's mind and not really caring what anybody else thinks. And I've gotten that from Blake. I wish Blake had had a little bit more of my sense of peace and security along the way, because it's funny, I have just this really wonderful sense of family and peace, and I'm not thinking, oh, the grass is greener over there. I got it. It's here. And I wish Blake had a little more of that, but Blake gave me that just a strength that I called in and went, oh, I'll take that. That's okay.
Great. How have you found peace then in your own life?
Through my family. Family. It's all been, they keep me present. What really matters. Everything else comes and goes. It's all about relationships anyway. Isn't that what Guiding Light is all about? It's all about relationships. It's all about family. That's what Guiding Light does for all the fans. My own family does that for me, and then Guiding Light takes it on another level. It's just we're so connected. What's the beginning of that? What is it again? There's a destiny. See?
Maureen Garrett comes back, so you can plug this just before. I'll let you know. If you want to ask about Maureen specifically.
Okay.
And then you can run that just before she comes on.
Okay. How has it been for you to not work with some of the people you started with, such as Jerry, Maureen Garrett, in recent years?
Oh, I miss them so much. The hardest part for me, ending the show in this manner, is not having closure with Ross and having one more scene with Jerry. Just one scene where we're on camera together at the same time, because we never got that scene. We never got it. And that's very difficult, but I've had to just allow that to go. And of course, Roger, Michael, is not even available to us. But I think of him often. But Maureen Garrett has come back, and I do get the opportunity to play out scenes with her, and it's delicious. It's just wonderful, and it was as if we just took right up and never left off.
That's great. Do you feel like Blake will get some closure with Holly?
Yes.
Yes, in a way that's satisfying for you as an actress. Great.
Yes.
Is there anything else you can tell us about your scenes with Holly? With Maureen Garrett?
Oh, I think she just helps Blake decide to move on in a way that I think Blake has always stayed back, still sort of thinking, oh, I had it, I'll never get it again. But I think Blake learns from Holly about different kinds of love and different stages of love, and it's okay to have something different. And she talks a little sense into her about that, that crazy kind of love, and then that comfortable kind of love, and so that's, we talk about Roger, and it's really it's wonderful.
It's great. That's great. What has been your favorite storyline while playing Blake over the last 17 years?
Twins by two different fathers.
Really?
Gotta be. I just love that. But being between Jerry Verdorn and Michael O'Leary was the best sandwich ever. Because you have energies that are so opposing, and I was smack in the middle, and I just never stopped laughing, and it was so ridiculous, and yet we played it like that was really what was happening, and I mean, they were all so wonderful. I just thought that was just so much fun to play, because there was a scene every time you turned around. You just had to look at each other, and there was a scene that was unwritten. And aside from when I first came on, and that Ross, Holly, Roger, Blake, that grouping was unbelievable too. That was amazing. That was amazing.
Right.
First getting together with Ross, yeah.
That I don't know if people realize. I think Blake being impregnated at the time with 2 different fathers was pretty unusual in daytime. But since then, most every other show has featured some sort of storyline like that.
We were the first.
Blake was the first. Blake can go down as that honor.
Yeah.
Which of course then was reconned later. That was changed, wasn't it?
Well, now here's the story on that one. That's
Okay.
changed only according to Ben. What Ben said, his word that he tells Annie. Wait, is that right, or was it Annie told Ben? It's one of the two. It's
Annie
the two
told
of them.
Ben that she had.
She had switched it, but it's only based on somebody's word. There was never a DNA test, and it's based upon words of people that are questionable, and what their motives were questionable. So I've never believed it. I've always been 100. Well, as Blake. No, everybody said it's all Ross's, but as a potential future storyline, I think it's still out there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do.
And what story do you look back upon and just look back and wish it would have been done or could have been done a different way? Is there anything you just go, ugh?
Well, I think they rushed the Ben storyline because they did rush it. They because something else fell through, and I don't know what it was. And they immediately took me from, I was pregnant and out to here, and they suddenly said, "Okay, you're in love with Ben." And I went, "What?" You know, but they didn't give any lead up to it. They didn't show Blake being dissatisfied, being a housewife at home, yearning for something and not getting it, and then give her the steps towards having her being distracted by something else. So I had a hard time with making that jump of why I would be so drawn to him that I would throw away everything, you know. And so that one I think the foundation was a little shaky, and so it was difficult to take. But then once it happened, then it was fascinating how it all played out. And also I was pregnant at the time, and I was kind of not in the mood. Sorry.
Looking back now at your career at over 25 years in daytime,
Yeah.
what advice would you have given yourself starting out?
Oh, I should have just relaxed and had more fun. I was just too uptight. Honestly, it's just, we're all human, and I just should have brought more of me into everything. I did. I think but I was learning, and I was young, and probably didn't need to start that early. I should have gone around and traveled the world. Now I look back, I'm like, what was I doing this so young? I was like young and restless when I was a teenager.
That's right. Knowing all that now, does that influence your plans in the future? Anything you'd like to do in the future, or theater, travel?
Oh, I love theater. I'm actually doing theater in end of October through November up in the Hudson Valley. I'm doing a production of The Secret Garden, and my daughter, my real life daughter, is in it as well, playing the Annie, Mary Lennox character, the young girl. So I'm doing that. I also did a scene in a movie called Morning Glory with Jeff Goldblum playing his wife, which will be out next year. Little scene, but big movie. That was fun. A lot of fun.
Great.
Some physical comedy in that. Harrison Ford and Diane Keaton's in it. And, Rachel McAdams, and well, I'm open. But I want to get back. I like the ensemble. I like this. I want to do this still. I want to keep doing this with a group, a family. I like working with people for a long time too. So,
Great.
yeah.
Great. Is there anything you would like to tell the We Love Soaps fans out there that are really saddened by this and really grieving the loss of Guiding Light and the loss of Blake? Anything you'd like to say to them?
Oh, have faith that this is going to move on somewhere else at some point. You just have to have faith that this thing's strong enough because we can never go away. We'll always be here, always.
All right, great.